Hey loves, thank you for joining me today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kinga. I am feeling really heavy and full today, and do you feel it? I bet you feel it too, because the tension is building, it's been building, it's going to continue to build until we heal. People think that racism is only a big deal when something horrible happens and somebody dies, but it is around all the time. And those of us who experience oppression regularly know that. The only way that we can heal this in our community, the only way we can heal this from our society, is to heal ourselves. Racism, sexism, homophobia, they're not going anywhere. And it's more than just politics. It's about the emotional. It's about your own personal narrative and how you're healing. I was raised in a small town in Massachusetts with only 24 kids in my class from kindergarten through 6th grade, the same kids all the way through, give or take. And I was one out of a handful of black kids, or people of color actually, in my school. And most of us were mixed, black and white. I was raised at home with my white Hungarian mother, who immigrated here about 5 years before I was born, and my black American father lived in Paris and still does, and was not a big part of my upbringing for most of my life. His parents lived one state over. My grandparents on my father's side were definitely a part of my upbringing, and I saw them pretty often. And they had beautiful African artifacts all over their house and were prideful of all of the accomplishments that they had made and being successful black folk and things like that. And were also heavily adapted to white culture and lived their lives in a very white assimilated way. They did whatever they thought they needed to keep our family safe from racism and violence and threats and attacks. They did what they thought was best for us to keep us all safe so we could survive. That's the truth. That's my story. I remember in 3rd grade, I had an assignment to name all the African American people that I knew, and I remember asking my family what an African American was. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know that I was black. I just wasn't really aware that I was really different from the other kids like that. I didn't realize that that's what made us different. And it wasn't until I got out of elementary school and I went to middle school and I realized that there was a whole black culture that I was missing out on in a black community right down the street from me that I had zero connections to. I was never raised in any type of black community. I wasn't black enough, and I for sure wasn't white. So what was I? And that's the question I've been getting my whole life. What are you? Because of that, I grew up feeling imposter syndrome everywhere I went, not feeling like I belonged anywhere. And only now am I starting to realize how that's impacted me my whole life. I feel imposter syndrome even calling myself black. How does that happen? My story matters. It is a black story. A story of my culture being removed from me. It's my responsibility now to reclaim my blackness. That I am not half white and half black. I am black and I am white. And what does that mean for me? Because I will never appear as white in this world. It's damaging to never be enough and always be stuck in between. Am I black enough to share my truth and my perspective? Will I be accepted by my community? Will I be embraced? Or do I need to push down all of my pain so I can take advantage of the white privilege that I have? But what white privilege do I have? Because I will never be seen as white in this world. I may benefit from my mother's privilege or from my light complexion, but I am not a white person in this world. I feel stuck, wrong, invalid. Where's my place? But that's not helping anyone or anything. You see what I'm saying? How is the pain that I'm feeling, how is the pain that you're feeling maintaining this system? Hurt people hurt people. So how are we going to heal the system when we are not healed ourselves? Everyone is carrying so much pain. Everyone is carrying so much trauma right now. If we continue to follow that, we are just going to be moving deeper into a collective trauma. The trauma lives inside of our bodies, all of us. And unless we are actively healing it, it literally controls and directs our lives and our movement. We need to turn to healing. Heal yourself to heal our community, our society, our world. Whether your ancestors were enslaved or they were slave owners, whether your ancestors were attacked and violated, harmed, or whether they were doing the harming, it still exists in our bodies, literally. Our bodies remember that. What deep-rooted thoughts, patterns, habits, and mindsets are you still carrying that were passed down to you through the culture of your family? And how can you heal yourself so that you don't pass those things down unintentionally? So that you don't continue that harm, even unintentionally. Everyone wants to point the finger at the next person, at the government, at the laws, at the racists, at the thugs. But what about you? How are you fitting into this story? What is your role? Your responsibility? We all make up one piece of this story. How is your privilege or your trauma feeding into the bigger picture? We are all individuals, living our own narratives and controlling what we do next. So what is your narrative? And what are you choosing to do? I'm choosing to heal. Because I know I can't make a difference if I am moving from pain. This conversation is ongoing and ever going. These things will never go away. This is one long story of humankind. And we get to each write our own piece of it. So how are you writing your story? I would love to hear. What is your story? What is your role in this? And how is your healing going to heal us all? If you found this helpful at all, please let me know by liking or commenting or subscribe to the channel and share it with a friend if you think it might touch them too. But please know and understand that healing comes first. This is our collective story of humankind. Healing yourself heals us all. So please take that work seriously. Love you.